So for those of you that aren't familiar or weren't aware, we tried something like this last year in an attempt to support those clubs that had 12 members or less, but ones that we didn't have somebody to assign to, a club coach to assign to them. We didn't want them to be floundering. So we set up this kind of team coaching ability and called on a number of our experienced Toastmasters to each take a topic that might be of value to those clubs. And it seems to be pretty popular, somewhat successful. So we're going to continue that this year. This is the first of this current Toastmaster year, and trying to expand it in terms of the number of clubs that are eligible to participate and the topics that we're going to offer, and make it really a club health, a club quality series here. So hope you find this valuable. We're really fortunate tonight to have for our first presenter, Tom Carlson. Tom is one of the more experienced members of our Toastmaster district. He's been a member since 1968. I think that must be the Johnson administration, right, Tom?
I believe so.
Yeah, very good. That's impressive. His home club is the Janesville Toastmasters Club. Sometimes they call themselves the Club of Champions, or something of that sort. He's been a club officer in just about everything. He says maybe not sergeant at arms, but he's got a lot of experience in serving in officer roles. Within the district leadership positions, he's served as an area director, and he's also quite accomplished as a competitive public speaker, having won the district contest in 1982 and in 1992. In fact, one of those years, 1992, advanced all the way to the region competition in Indianapolis and took third place there. So it's quite an accomplishment. Personally, he has a family with 2 sons, a wife, Linda. I can relate to that one. And he's got 3 stepdaughters. His business, and I'd be surprised if he doesn't speak a little bit on the topic tonight, but his business is called Fairview Patio. And he's been in it for quite a few years, 69 years as a matter of fact. In addition to Toastmasters, Tom enjoys traveling, gardening, public speaking in general, and he considers it a lifetime achievement, having survived in retail for 69 years. With that, I think we're all excited to hear Tom talk about the topic of member quality, and I know he's put a lot of effort into this, and he's excited to share with us tonight. So please share with us, Tom. And just as a reminder, the format tonight, Tom's going to talk for about 30 minutes. And then after that, we're going to have an open session, questions, answers. But of course, we'll make those questions about the topic in general, not just anything Toastmasters, but let's try to keep it focused on Tom's topic. So with that, please, Tom, let's welcome him.
Thank you, Keith, and welcome dignitaries and fellow Toastmasters. First, a disclaimer is in order as pertains to member quality. Toastmasters does not discriminate membership in any factor other than age. And to counter that, they offer a Gallo Club program for members age 18 and younger. Also, this seminar is being recorded, and if anyone has any questions answered after the Q&A session, my email address is tomcarlson159@gmail.com. That number after my name is easy to remember. Just picture a calculator keypad to start with the number 1 and go diagonally 5, 9 up the keypad. Formalities out of the way. Albert Einstein wrote, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different outcome is the definition of insanity. So true. Membership decline is universal in professional and service club organizations, including Toastmasters. And it started long before COVID-19 broadsided us. So professional and service clubs tend to just accept membership decline as not much they can do about it. Toastmasters is not alone, but we are different. And Toastmasters can do something about declining membership. We must not take solace in our decline because it's happening in all service organizations. We can do something about it. In fact, our future is very bright. Toastmasters is designed for people who realize fully one's potential. Maslow has a diagram of the hierarchy of basic needs. I'll just see if I can bring it up. If I'm successful, and I'm not good at this, that top line says that the most important of basic human needs is self-actualization. That top line could read Toastmasters. And here we are, right at the top of the hierarchy of basic human needs as written by psychologist Abraham Maslow. That proves that we have no excuse to not grow our club and district membership. Literally, everyone can benefit from Toastmasters. Who we are and where we are is our real challenge. That is where the new future of Toastmasters lies, right at the top. I want to try to make you all see membership quality optimistically after this seminar. Poor quality is one of the factors causing membership decline, and it's not the only reason. Because of the other side of the equation, there are other factors that can cause membership decline and has been happening for a long time. In Toastmasters, quality has to spread across all segments. Therefore, this seminar will touch on several factors that relate to the importance of quality, and the lack of it will contribute to decline. Before I go any further, this presentation is labeled Member Quality. I'm going to go deeper than that. The issue is really membership decline, which started long before COVID-19, which got all the blame. COVID-19 just magnified the problem of membership decline everywhere. So please keep that in mind as my presentation goes further. I decided this morning, after already putting many hours into this, that I should start all over, but there isn't time for that. What this presentation covers is all very relevant to quality, as in quality members, quality meetings, quality marketing, quality everything. Quality drives everything. And just keep in mind that when I mention the word hybrid, that's an adjective, not a noun. Hybrid describes a quality meeting combining the best of our 98-year-old club meetings and the new internet meetings. Got it? Hybrid meetings are quality meetings, and quality meetings come from many different aspects. And this presentation will try to cover several of them. For Toastmaster to turn the tide of membership decline, and we will, We have to quit blaming COVID-19 and move forward, embracing our position right at the top of that chart of the basic human needs. So let's go forward. Member quality, the title I was given, starts with Marketing 101. Marketing to just any prospect does not make quality clubs. The mistake clubs make is not looking in the right place for quality prospects. The definition of a quality prospect is one who will benefit from the Toastmaster program. What you will hear in this seminar covers a lot of things I have learned from survival and retail, and they can all apply to Toastmasters. My apologies, I'm not an academic. I speak from survival of over 5 decades in my own business, and I can say I have learned more from my mistakes than what I did right. The same applies to Toastmasters. This seminar will focus on the following subjects, but not necessarily in this order: our future, our potential, marketing the club, member quality, meeting quality, fun meetings, get in the game, and a few stories intermixed. The name Toastmaster Club might hopefully come up in the Q&A period. The Q&A session with comments are much appreciated. All of these relate to member quality. If we don't have the right members, we will not have quality clubs. And if we don't have quality clubs, there's only one way to go: south. And some clubs are already there. Either they are in retirement or dead, passed on. The last I knew, there are 10 clubs in District 35 with no members. 0. Revival after death takes a miracle. It's called Raised from the Dead. I say never quit, refine and thrive. Before I go any further, quality is always the issue anywhere I've been in my many decades. Toastmasters is a gem, and what each of us does with Toastmasters will make it a jewel with immeasurable value. I'll come back to that, so stick with me. We have to understand this. Toastmasters is indirectly a service club, but not directly. Service clubs serve community and people with social needs. Toastmasters serve each other, but Toastmasters can help people in the professional and service clubs be effective leaders. Marketing tip: professional and service club officers is a market for prospective Toastmaster club members. How about a Toastmaster seminar for officers of all the professional and service clubs? It could be done with an area club marketing together. Member quality is the core to club quality and growth. The two qualities our district director, Jennifer, is focused on. I've shared my vision with District 35 with Jennifer several times. And that is that I dream a lot, both day and night. Sometimes I get up at 4 a.m. and make a note of my dream, because dreams are like clouds that come from nowhere and drift past and into the forever beyond. But I've learned that if I grab a dream and work on it, even at 4 a.m., District 35 can become a vision. So I've had a dream about Toastmasters, and I've grabbed it, worked on it, and still work on it, and it became a vision. A vision that every club in District 35 has 20 members. Possible? Absolutely. It's not a dream. Some clubs have already proved it's possible. But make a mental image of that pyramid, which I hope you saw, with Toastmasters at the top. The need for Toastmasters will always exist. And that's the good news. Remember that our market for new members will never diminish. We can't run out of prospects. We have a fantastic future because Toastmasters is unique and will always be in demand because it serves a basic human need. And there we sit at the top, fulfilling a basic human need. The hidden depths of gems. Toastmasters is a field of hidden gems that have to be dug. Gems are found hidden in the earth, formed from time and pressure. They are not laying in the open, sparkling on the surface. Gems are not found everywhere. We have to know where to dig. And when we understand who and where our prospective gems are, we have to dig for them. That takes hard work and sweat. Hidden gems are going nowhere until they are found. That's called Marketing 101. Then each gem has to be washed to take away the dross, like the ahs and ums. That's easy with the help of the grammarian. Next comes the chipping away to start creating of a unique speaking style. That's done by the field help of evaluations. Finally comes the polishing to make the gem a jewel, and that comes by finishing a pathway project, preparing for a contest with practice, lots of practice. And when practice happens through participation, our gems become jewels by participating in meeting after meeting. And that's the very essence of Toastmasters, practice. And you will learn this event how to improve member participation. Story time because of Toastmasters. I was asked to be the MC for the Janesville Concert Series. That gave me license to go backstage and meet professional artists. And I asked them, now that you have reached the pinnacle of your career, how has that changed your practicing? Every one of them had the same answer. They never stop practicing, even up to before the curtain opens. That's why retention is important for members as a place to practice. Next on the list, there's so much that needs to be said about club marketing. Tree Garden International suggests inviting your friends to a Toastmaster meeting. That's fishing with a net. You might get one quality prospect in 99 minnows, only one wanting self-improvement. Quality members come from quality prospects. Fish with a lure, not a net. And you will get a quality prospect who bites on a lure they are attracted to. Your marketing has to attract people who desire the basic need that I mentioned earlier in this seminar, desiring self-improvement, the highest of the basic human needs. That's the lure we should use to catch the prospects we need, the right lure. That will attract prospects who want to get ahead in life. We hear a lot about open house. I call that public relations, not target marketing. Story time. Sit back and listen how I got into Toastmasters. I had a black machine on my desk that had a little wheel on it. And when I made a long distance phone call, I put my finger in a hole and turned it until it stopped. And a pleasant voice came on without a menu and said, "Number, please." I gave her a number and she said, without caller ID, "Thank you, Mr. Carlson." She recognized my voice from my radio garden show. And if you have good communication skills, people will listen. People who listen will recognize your voice. Please take notice that this story is a powerful marketing technique. Talk the benefits. Use a lure. A total stranger called me on that black box and invited me to the next Toastmaster meeting on the following Tuesday, 5 days away. I didn't know what Toastmasters was, so I said, sorry, I'll be busy. And he had a powerful answer. He said, that's okay. You can come 2 weeks later and see how our members practice their communication skills, so you will see how Toastmasters will help your radio garden talk show. Wow, that's fishing with a lure. And I bit on it, hook, line, and sinker. He was marketing it with every comment he made. It gave me a benefit, and that instantly changed my plans. I joined the first meeting from an invite from a stranger. In my first meeting, I heard a factory worker speak so powerfully, he ultimately went on to compete 3 times at the World Contest. I wanted to have that power with words, and I'm still practicing in my 43rd year. What are the results of my Toastmaster Improved Garden Talk Show? I've traveled in 35 countries of the world and every state but one, and gave speeches in most, many of them through interpreters. That's neat, by the way, gives you thinking spaces. All that because of it, only because a stranger had invited me to Toastmasters. I was appointed to an international board of trustees of an organization started by President Eisenhower. And when I served, President Reagan was the honorary chairman of the board. And I was even a semifinalist in the World Contest in 1992. Those stories could never be told except that I joined Toastmasters because a stranger invited me to a Toastmaster meeting. See what can happen when you invite strangers? Got another hour? I could tell you a lot more. I'm not telling you not to invite a friend. Just be sure that you know that they can better their lot in life. Fishing with the lure, not a net, when prospecting for new members. There are strangers out there who might never know their potential unless you invite them to a quality Toastmaster meeting. And please note the adjective quality. So let's get to meeting quality next. All the points I've touched on are big, but this one is huge. If a prospect visits your club virtually from your marketing invitation, and he's visiting to consider joining Toastmasters, and the meeting is not organized, not quality, not beneficial, not even entertaining, so long, because it was not interesting. COVID-19 gets the blame for poor meeting quality, resulting in membership decline. But after you hear my next comments, you will stop blaming COVID and say, thank you, COVID. So where did we go wrong? TI, in its infinite wisdom, issued a mandate when COVID-19 reared its ugly head. No more face-to-face meetings, but you can go virtual with Zoom. Unfortunately, Toastmasters had not come up with the term hybrid. Then they misguided us by saying, all you need is a laptop. You don't have to spend any money on more equipment. Use Google and your virtual meetings can start next week. You can even get by with your own cell phone. We tried it, and a lot of us concluded, baloney. But we didn't have any options. Then a year later, they said we could go back to face with the mask. More baloney, because the problem was not fixed. They knew about the tool Zoom, but they obviously didn't have any experience yet. Virtual meetings had problems and still does. But most clubs do not like virtual meetings. Notice I said because they're not hybrid. They send us off. They sent us off to meet virtually with a laptop, and we still don't like it. We're just now learning how to make a virtual meeting into a hybrid meeting. Thank goodness. The major reason for not liking virtual is audio quality. It might be tolerated by a few, but 100% members of the membership won't snap back unless they quit virtual and go hybrid. That's a shame, a shameful fact, because the fix is so quick and it's so easy and it's almost penniless. The problem, it's so easy, and I didn't know it until I did my homework. Here's the problem. The mic in a laptop is usually poor quality. They didn't need high quality mics when they built your laptop or your PC. My guess is because Zoom type meetings had not come along yet. Unless your PC or laptop is a higher cost unit or relatively new, it is probably the cause of poor audio quality. For most older equipment, the mic in a PC or laptop audio quality is less than poor. My PC is old, and the audio quality was poor. Voices were coming out of a tunnel. I fixed my audio with a $20 webcam with dual mics. I didn't know what a webcam was until did some research. It's a computer camera, and you can get a webcam with a good embedded mic. Those who are hearing my voice say it is excellent. Got it at Best Buy, 20 bucks. Some say it's cheaper at Amazon. You will notice that some are using a headset, and those people have excellent audio quality because headsets come with a good embedded mic. Those two simple fixes at very low cost can contribute immensely to quality meetings. You don't have time to go into all of the other fixes unless they come up in the Q&A sessions, but there are more. District 35 recently had a special event on hybrid meetings, and he was an expert on equipment for hybrid meetings. So am I. But not the same kind of expert he is. My being an expert comes from the Latin root words, ex and spurt. Ex being a has-been, and spurt being a drip under pressure. I put that in to satisfy the suggestions that speeches need humor. But the real expert knew his technical stuff about the equipment needed at the person-to-person meeting room. However, that's just one location, and the virtual attendees may come from many locations, and that's where the problems come from. Their equipment that's at the virtual end does not have a good embedded mic, unless they make the changes I've suggested. That could be a club support seminar all of its own, Keith. The fix for the virtual member cost is almost penniless, but critical, and it's so fast. It's the only way to greatly improve hybrid meetings, which makes for hybrid members. There are other things that are important that can improve hybrid quality and grow your club size. We must understand this. If you market your club to qualified prospects, you have to have quality meetings for them to visit in person or virtual. This is important. When you have an initial virtual visitor, they may experience poor quality because their equipment is the problem. And they should be alerted to the fact that the audio quality that they might experience at first visit virtually is easily fixed if they intend to join Toastmasters. The reason a prospect might be coming to your club is because that is the only way they can meet. So that's why it will be important when you are marketing your club. Virtual visitors must understand that just using Zoom with the laptop is not a guarantee of a quality hybrid meeting. The virtual member needs to know how to adjust things that may not cost anything, such as background. Again, that could be a separate club support seminar. Yes, we should say thanks to COVID, which is transitioning us to hybrid meetings. I belong to 3 clubs because besides my home club, I would never belong to those clubs were it not for hybrid meetings. I would be the first loser if any of those go exclusively to in-person meetings. One club has a member from Australia. Another has that I have visited has virtual members from Ukraine. I doubt if clubs like that would ever drop meetings, but they have to be quality to be hybridly using hybrid features. My career has been in horticulture, where hybrids probably originated. Botanists took the best of one variety and crossed it with the best of another and created a superior variety and called it a hybrid. A hybrid Toastmaster meeting takes the best of an in-person meeting we've been using for 98 years, and they called it a hybrid. A hybrid Toastmaster meeting takes the best of in-person meetings and the benefits of virtual meetings and come up with a hybrid, but not if it is run as an in-person meeting. A hybrid meeting must be run differently. Absolutely not the same as an in-person meeting. That's one of the clubs I belong to, is because they have talented members and I learn from them. But if their quality is not good, if I can't hear or understand the people are watching from home, I'm going to leave. Quality clubs located in high density population areas like around Milwaukee, where everyone can easily get to an in-person meeting, they still need quality meetings, but they do not need virtual meetings. I won't drive 120 miles round trip. So if a club is not run as a hybrid meeting, sorry, I stay home. Living proof that if an in-person club has enough local members or do not want or need members from miles away, or like from Australia or Ukraine, they don't need to worry about virtual tools. And I'm talking about clubs who want the camaraderie of the in-person meetings, which I love, but they should still want quality, which has to be the hallmark of hybrid meetings. Said another way, eliminating the virtual tool called Zoom should not change the absolute need for quality meetings. I'm going to talk more about that. So we should say thanks to COVID, not blame COVID, which is actually transitioning us to quality meetings. Clubs that meet just virtual without quality, they will keep members. So thanks for hybrid meetings, but no thanks for virtual only meetings. Virtual is not a meeting type. Virtual is a tool. When I say virtual, I could say Zoom. Zoom is not a hybrid meeting. Zoom is a tool that makes hybrid meetings possible. Thank goodness we have those tools. Interesting and fun meetings. Another contribution to quality meetings and quality members. Toastmasters is a fabulous program, but out of necessity, it has to have a place for new clubs to start. So Toastmasters has a lot of formats to use if a club does not want to invent their own. But there are not many. Example, a meeting agenda suggests a certain formula that we all know by heart. And almost every club follows that formatted agenda to a T. And you know what? It gets boring. The same old tried, but workable agenda. But we can make agendas interesting with a little ingenuity. I'll give you some examples. You don't need to have an counter every meeting. Some clubs have a joke master. Again, every meeting doesn't need a joke master. And guess what? All the clubs with joke masters that I've heard, they tell jokes. I haven't been impressed. And I love to tell jokes. Ask my wife. We attend Toastmasters for self-improvement. So if we're going to have a humor session, that educates us on how to use humor in a speech, and then give an example in a speech that uses humor or a joke. Now that can be fun plus informative. Then the meeting becomes a benefit. Here's one I have never witnessed any club using, and I've visited quite a few clubs. But I'm thinking about addressing the skill of enunciation. But I will try it and call it the articulation master. We all need to articulate, and that comes by practicing enunciation. Tongue twisters improve articulation. Certainly a very important communication skill. Now it becomes beneficial and fun. The 2005 champion of public speaking, Lance Miller, says fun meetings are imperative. I question the word fun, but I don't anymore. He made meetings fun as one of the tools he used to restore over 200 struggling clubs to become president's distinguished. Fun meetings work. Try this for fun. Articulation master. It could be a new meeting role to use now. Then in place of maybe humor or grammarian. Use change to make meetings fun and interesting. To keep members attending, participating, and renewing your membership. See if this adds fun and interest to a meeting. Enunciation is a skill everyone should use, just as important as vocal variety. Theophilus Thistle, the successful thistle shifter, in sifting a sieve full of unthisted thistles, thrust 3,000 thistles through the thick of his thumb. See that thou, in sifting a sieve full of unsifted thistles, thrust not 3,000 thistles through the thick of thy thumb. Success to Theophilus Thistle, the successful thistle sifter. You can do that. Here's a short one to use as a warm-up before the curtains open, before a speech. A skunk sat on a stump. The stump thought the skunk stunk, and the stump. See, I need practice. The stump thought the skunk stunk, and the skunk thought the stump stunk. Say that before each speech, and your speech rate will slow down, and the enunciation will go up.
I'm Crystal, and I'm wondering, have you ever been the timer at a Toastmasters meeting? If so, have you ever given thought?
I've been getting paid $1,000.
Voice speaking. A common cause for membership decline is lackadaisically run meetings. How often does your club spend the first few minutes of a 60-minute meeting assigning meeting roles? That certainly would not impress a prospective visitor, whereas a tightly organized meeting is impressive. The solution for lackadaisical meetings is a plan using get in the game. Lance Miller joined Toastmasters as a bakery truck driver and became the 2005 World Champion winner, and has helped over 200 clubs, as I told you. That's great for any club to achieve, and it can be done following his plan. I recommend every club embrace his plan. It's not my plan. I just gave it a name, get in the game. When a member participates, they grow and become strong. Participation cures lackadaisical, and that's what drags a club down. Get in the game. Keep club meetings active. And the game is the way to do it. When you come into a room and see people playing a game and having fun, you want to get in the game. You want to participate. Member participation increases in attendance. They want to get in the game. The rules for getting in the game are established by each club. You don't have to be the same. Members sign up for meeting roles 2, 3, or 4 meetings ahead. Roles that are not taken are assigned by the VP of Education, who has a record of what roles a member has filled and assigns members accordingly to the open roles. A member can opt out on one condition. They have to find someone to take their place. If the meeting Toastmasters so choose, a role that is left open can be left off the agenda. Keep meetings interesting. When members see participation, they feel growth, and they see others growing. They will attend, participate, and grow, and the club will become quality and probably presidents distinguished. Points are earned for every meeting function. At the end of the year, a committee evaluates the points earned playing the game, and awards are given to outstanding, most improved, best attendee, Toastmaster, and the list can go on. Points can vary depending on the effort required. For instance, a pathway speech would earn, say, 8 points. A table topics responder, 2 points. Points are given for club meeting, TI, and other attendance, like for today, for giving outside speeches, bringing a guest, and maybe the highest points for getting a new member. The possibilities are endless. Points drive participation. Participation drives growth, and growth drives quality. And quality stops member decline dead in its tracks. Get in the game might require a new meeting role. Scorekeeper. When a club has 20 members, as in my vision, there are more members to involve in participation. Get in the game should have a club meeting spreadsheet that can enable visitors to select meeting roles ahead. That would relieve the VP of Education of a lot of work and save a lot of emails. I've been told it can be made available to the members of the club. Are you starting to see the benefits from fun and rewarding meetings? Idea. When clubs are transitioning from low to full membership, invite members from other clubs to speak or appear at your club. You might learn from them, and you get going and they'll learn from you. Here's another marketing idea. Offer to have a member from your club or even another club to speak about Toastmasters at other service club meetings. I belong to the Lions Club, and we have outside speakers for 10 to 15 minutes. All of those that I've heard could benefit from Toastmasters, and I invite them, and I give them our business card. Toastmasters can give a presentation in 5 to 7 minutes. There's so much more to talk about, but my 30 minutes are probably up. Things like new member orientation, something like the Cream City Communicators Club does so well. I love that name. How to stage they tell how to stage a virtual meeting from home or office, or even bedrooms like I am doing. I'm sitting in my bedroom. And those who come up in the question, those might come up in the question and answer session, where comments are welcome. This speech has 4,300 words. And at 150 words per minute, it should be a 29-minute speech. Keith, if you think this is the time for a few-minute break, so be it. And we can go on with the Q&A as soon as you give us the sign.
Yeah, I don't think we need a break, but we can get into some questions and answers right now.
I'll let you control that part of the.
Yeah. So let me seed the discussion by starting with one question, and hopefully that spurs some other ideas. You touched on it just near the end too. So talk a little bit about new member orientation, because you spent a good portion of the beginning part of your speech talking about bringing a prospect, in, having a quality club. Now you've got the hook in. They're a member. How do you orient them? What are some qualities that you see there to be successful?
I visited with Chris the other day because they have a new member orientation program, and she can tell you about it. But she did make the comment that few clubs have new member orientation. When somebody comes into Toastmasters, they may not and probably do not have a goal. But you in the new member orientation can help them focus on a goal, or at least get started on one goal, which they may change to later on. I think that's the most important key to stopping member dropout. So anytime Chris wants to chime in, or anyone else, or contact her club. And I love the name of her club, and I'm going to go on and answer that question just in case it comes up. Cream City Communicators. Think of it. It doesn't say Toastmasters. It doesn't say Milwaukee. It speaks of an area, and it speaks of the actual thing that Toastmasters does. Yesterday afternoon, I had a meeting with a prominent volunteer person in Janesville, and we inserted some talk about Toastmasters. And he said, you know what's wrong with Toastmasters? Nobody knows what it is. When I incorporated my business, my attorney said, we have to pick out a name. And I picked out a grand name, Tom Carlson Enterprises, Inc. You know what he said? What do you sell? Janesville Toastmasters Club. What does it sell? Janesville excludes Beloit, which now has a club. Cream City covers an area. Cooley region covers an area. They don't need the word lacrosse. The word Toastmasters is something you think of happening at a wedding. True?
Or in the kitchen.
What's Toastmasters about? It's about communication. It's not about public speaking. Public speaking might be the result. I don't like the word club, because to me that denotes a social group. So I would like to change the Janesville Toastmasters Club to Rock County Communicators Group. I like the word group. It doesn't have any limitations. Next question.
All right. Anyone have a question?
Tommy mentioned about targeting people, strangers, people who need improvement. What has worked for you in the past to bring in strangers and help them identify their own needs to improve, which then led them to join your group or any group club you belong to.
Keith, could you summarize and repeat Yuri's question?
Yeah, I think Yuri's looking for some examples that you've used to identify when an individual has a need. How do you
Everybody
how
has
do you
a need.
how do you tailor that to making them
Every-
or getting them to realize they need
Everybody has a
Toastmasters?
need for self-actualization. It's at the top of the basic needs that every human being has. I doubt if the people that are living homelessly on the streets of some of our big cities really have any goals. I don't know if I would go there. It might be a wonderful effort to go there and talk about Toastmasters. Maybe Toastmasters could pull them off the street. But just know the fact that we're talking about improving our lot in life, whether it's personal, spiritual, marriage, whatever. It all depends on communication skills. I love the quotation. The art of communication is the language of leadership. Written by James Humes, speechwriter for Ronald Reagan. Thank you, Yuri.
All right. Any other questions? Polly.
Well, thank you, Tom. Thank you so much for this presentation. You hit something that sparked a nerve with me. You said have the area market to service club organizations. I thought that was fantastic. Could you elaborate? Are you talking about that we need to go out to Lions clubs or any service clubs in our area and talk to their leadership?
I went to
Toastmasters.
I went to our local Chamber of Commerce a few weeks ago, and one of my club members is active in that organization. So she put my foot in the door, and I've got the addresses of well over 100 organizations that are in this area. It might be at the library. I talked to you about gems coming out of the earth, and you have to dig for them. You might have to dig to find those addresses. When you find them, they might not be an address. It might just be a phone number. But a phone number is calling a stranger. A person called me on the phone, and look where I am. I'm not at the top of Toastmasters, but I'm having fun and I'm learning every week. There isn't anybody that you can't invite to Toastmasters, Yuri. I was having my 90th birthday celebration and having my favorite meal, prime rib. And I asked the waitress, "Is this your only job?" She had a name badge, so I could call her by name. She says, "No, I'm a professor at Whitewater University." "Oh, what do you teach?" "Public speaking." "Do you know about Toastmasters?" "I know, I've heard of it, but I don't know anything about it." She's on my prospect list. Total stranger. I was at cardiac rehab the other day, and the lady had 2-inch long fingernails. And I said, "I'm admiring your beautiful fingernails. Does that impede your using a keyboard?" "Not at all." I said, "Do you use it?" "I use it a lot." I said, "What do you do?" She says, "I'm an author." Next question, "Have you heard about Toastmasters?" "No, I haven't." I said, "If you want, do you give speeches?" She says, "Yes, a lot." "If you want to practice one of your speeches, come to our Toastmaster meeting. Maybe she'll like it, and maybe she'll see a need to join." That's marketing. She was a stranger. I've told people about Toastmasters at the lunch counter. Next question.
Sounds like you're always on, Tom. So you mentioned the Chamber of Commerce and then following up with maybe emails or telephone conversations. And maybe this is a topic just of itself, but some of that involves getting over that fear of cold calling. And it's not entirely cold, but you're calling people that aren't expecting your call. You're emailing people that aren't expecting your email. And I think for some people there's a barrier there. What would you suggest to overcome that?
How are you doing today? Anything to open the conversation. I visited with the lady last evening, walking her 2 dogs past my house as I was sitting on the bench. I didn't say anything about Toastmasters, but if she had said, "How are you doing, Tom?" I could have said, "I'm having fun with Toastmasters." I see Paul shaking his head. How many of you, I'm not asking for a show of hands, I'm just asking a question. How many of you have a business card about Toastmasters handy in your pocket? Have it printed on 2 sides. Tell the story. Leave 4 or 5 of them at the checkout counter where you have breakfast. You just don't know. You might find a future Martin Luther King. Think of it that way. Think of, Jennifer, how did you become aware of Toastmasters?
I thought a stranger told me about it, and it took me, I'm embarrassed, almost 2 years to go for my very first meeting in Cream City.
And if one of those meetings was not a quality meeting, would it have taken 4 years?
Yeah, I doubt I'd have gone back if it was not a quality meeting. I went to both, before I joined, I went to Cream City and also went to Southwest Toastmasters. Both of them were phenomenal meetings.
I sincerely believe that quality is the only equation to a successful club. If District 35 would have more clubs that are focused on quality marketing, quality meetings, I think District 35 would be a shining star in Toastmasters International.
Thank you, Tom. And that brings us right to the top of the hour. So I'd like to once again thank Tom for his time and his insight, sharing with us on member quality today. I'll point out to you that there's some good information that Chris Poole put in the chat window about the orientation program. She's got some other stuff in there as well. Please go check that out. And yep, it's mostly on the orientation program. So if you're not familiar with that, I believe they still have that open to members from outside of Cream City. I know I've sent people their way and they've always been quite welcome.
I do have another dream, and I don't know how, I'd like to work on it, but I don't know how, but it tells a story. Let's have a Toastmaster club composed of politicians. Government,
Okay.
Governments do not understand people. When people communicate, they understand. So Toastmasters is doing a wonderful thing, although we don't talk about it. But as we develop communication between people, good quality communication, using the skills of Toastmasters, the world would be more peaceful than it is today if every country had a lot of Toastmaster clubs. If only we could have a Toastmaster club of politicians, maybe we'd have a better government.
That would be fascinating, Tom. All right, so Tom, thanks again for sharing your thoughts with us all today. As a reminder, this has been recorded, and I'm not sure exactly where yet, but we're going to have this on the district website. So please pass the word around that we're going to be putting this out there. Our next session, if you want to help promote this a little bit, it will be in 2 weeks. So generally these are going to be on the first and third Sunday nights of every month. So that'll be the 21st of August. And I believe it's Cindy Latch. Cindy, can you confirm, or is that the one you switched? That's the one you've flipped with Jill?
Jill, yes.
Oh, okay. We've got to get the district calendar to say the same thing. So I was thinking that was the case, but being on vacation for a week, sometimes I got some of those muddled up. So yeah, the 21st, and I will not be hosting. Unfortunately, I'm going to be in a very different time zone. So we'll have a different host for that, but don't worry, I'll be back. And thanks again for everyone's participation. Please spread the word amongst your areas and divisions if you're serving as directors in that capacity, and certainly amongst the myriad of clubs that you're members of. So thanks again. Hope you all have a good rest of the evening.